You know, I've never been to Romania before, never been to Transilvania before. It's very rare that I go somewhere where I've not already been. And at this time of my life, I'm 55, it's a blessing to come somewhere new and make new friends and new people and start establishing a relationship with a small audience that I can build bit by bit and get to know you and other, you know, and other people involved in music here and get to know the people. It's like,
You'd like to be really everywhere?
Most places. And it's, I was explaining outside, it's, if you just play a show where you know what you're going to do in advance and you play a show to the people and they clap, you play, it's cabaret. But if you can find a way of making a real connection, which normally means the only way you can make a connection with strangers is to make yourself vulnerable. And you make yourself vulnerable to strangers, and then they see your vulnerability, and then they feel relaxed enough to then show you their vulnerabilities. And then you make a connection. And these kind of my show is really about that, and the music is an excuse to be able to do
medication.
So there's always, everything's always different. Every night is different. There's lots of room where we can change things around, and I'll cue the band on stage and we change things, and there's lots of room for spontaneity, so we're always walking a tightrope and we never know quite what's going to happen next. And it depends on the audience. And yeah, that's my mission is to establish connection. And the music is just an excuse.
The meaning of is that like Monty Python-esque or
no, there was
like the early meaning of life.
There was some tongue-in-cheek, there was some humour, some satire, not quite Monty Python. The front cover of the album was I'm busking with a cheap guitar, and I have these naked angels who are putting money in my guitar case. And then the back cover, I'm in hell, surrounded by naked demons, and I've got an expensive guitar and I'm dressed up fine. It was my interpretation of the world that I saw, and somehow the part that I was supposed to play within it. And the title track was my moral statement. It's every soul without shelter, it's every child without food, the meaning of life is the blues. The blues is what unifies, it's our sadness, our suffering, it's what unifies humanity, it's what we all have in common. And it's part of our common, necessary experience. And I thought I was being humorous and deep at the same time. And then I got banned and stuff when I put the out because the naked women. Paul Jones, who, you know, from Man to Man, who for many years hosted the only national blues radio show on British radio, is a born-again Christian, and he took offence to this. And he decided to ban the album, get other people to ban it. When I was making a moral statement, and I was missing
video of Godwin Loves a Loser, same.
A little bit, and there was a bit of fun with the video, because the videos
it's like humor that today gets misinterpreted and people get offended.
The videos should never be the same as the lyrics, otherwise we're back in the 1980s or the 1970s, when they used to echo the lyrics and it was very cheesy. But you should have the same sentiment, at least, of what the lyrics are expressing. And the essence of God Loves a Loser is that, well, yes, we're loved by the divine because of our vulnerability. Because we're all fucking losers. Every single one.
So it was like Porsche Ride in 2010, which is double one, where you played with your mentor, Jonas Walker.
Mm-hmm.
He played the same stage as you, like in 2018, was our first important gig. Then you have Kim Wilson, the Grobyard, right? And then there's a 12 years gap up to Medication, which is officially your last record, because this one is
I mean,
Beautiful Life.
Because Torchlight originally was going to be a very different album, and then my father died just before I was about to record it, and I had the flights booked to go out to Rhode Island to produce the album, and suddenly life changed very quickly. My mother was very vulnerable, and I had one brother, only one sibling. He's like the villain in the soap opera. He's the bad guy in the pantomime with the audience. Boo. He's like J.R. Ewing Dallas, the original 80s soap opera. So he was never going to be any help. So I was the only person who could, because I was a musician, put my time aside and then plow my time into my mother to try and get her back on her feet. It took 5 years, 6 years maybe, to get her off her ass onto her knees before I could start getting her back onto her feet. Which is an odd predicament to be in, because normally our parents look after us, not the other way around. And then I had the same thing, happen with my kids. I had to bring up my kids on my own through their teens, and there was a lot of gap of things, tours that were cancelled because family life took over and I had to be a dad. Now I'm 55, my eldest daughter's married, a lovely guy. My youngest daughter's living in Australia with another guy, and they're happy. They've started that road, and I can't teach them anything anymore. Life needs to teach them the rest. So now I can grow old disgracefully. Finally out of my rock and roll, sex, drugs and rock and roll adulthood that I've been waiting for.
Your stories on the video shot, and it's gonna be on our channel soon. If you're gonna listen to them there. But what's next? I mean, are you working on a new album?
There's a new album that's coming out. I've got one single out at the moment. There's a duet I recorded with Sam Brown, Joe Brown's daughter, who now no longer sings. She has health problems, and I think will never sing again. It was attested to the same. And we recorded this just before she lost her voice and the capacity to sing, and I think people should hear it. It's been sitting in a drawer, and I've got lots of things like this that people need to hear. There's a fair few tracks that we recorded with Denise Johnston, who's the old Primal Scream singer. We did Primal Scream and all of the Happy Mondays and Stone Roses and all the Manchester stuff. And she died during the lockdown of asthma attack. She was quite young, but very prolific and very important singer. Claudia Fontaine is on there, who sung with Pink Floyd and various other people with Sam at the time. Claudia died of cancer. And I've got I have these recordings sitting in a drawer that should be heard.
Release this, or is it still?
I'm releasing the singles, and then the album will come out at the beginning of next year. The last single I'm releasing. The last single is a duet with Robbie Williams. It sounds like a strange thing. Robbie Williams. Which, when we're done with the interview, I'll show you the video, because Rob's not seen it yet. So you get to see it before he does. Which was a song I wrote that was a Beatles, the George Harrison side of my personality. And then when Rob said he wanted to duet it with me, we thought, let's record it in a style that's familiar to Robbie Williams. And his original co-producer, Steve Power, was already producing it. So Steve co-produced the sessions with me. And it's I don't know, lyrically, it's one of my songs I'm most proud of. It's one of my take on the human condition. It's good, and what's bad about humans in 3 minutes. And we have an orchestra. The first time I've ever recorded anything on it, an orchestra. We have an orchestra on the track. It was provided for me, and an arrangement was provided by David Arnold.
Yeah, I wanted to get with David Arnold. I'm very fond of the guy. He's one of Bond soundtracks.
One of our great composers, a lovely guy. And he's worked with Rob before as well. And he gave the song some extra wedding with his amazing string arrangement.
No Mick Taylor on the record?
Not on this one, not on this one. I've got lots of time in my life to do lots more sawdust on the floor blues stuff. But this is a slight deviation. This is an album of songs. There's more about the songs than about me as a guitar player.
You told me, that Jolie Walker was your mentor, and helped you to. What is your favorite blues musician? I'm not sure for some.
It's a bit like, what's your favorite child? You're not supposed to have favourites. Everyone's unique. Everyone's individual. You know, my first being exposed to the blues when I was a kid was Freddie King. My first blues I ever heard was Freddie King. I grew up through the 70s, and by the time I was 6 or 7 years old, I didn't like what I was hearing on the radio and what I was seeing on TV. I didn't like the punk thing. I love punk now, but at the time, it didn't have the virtuosity of Eddie Cochran or Buddy Holly or Scotty Moore. And then the rest of it was very easy listening, the easy listening thing and the disco thing, which kind of went over my head as a child, because it didn't seem sexy enough. I was 6, 7 years old, and I loved the sex of the raw sex of early Elvis and Eddie Cochran and Gene Vincent, and I was madly in love with Buddy Holly's music. And then when I was 12, I wanted to explore Elvis's influences, and I knew that he had blues influences. So I wanted to discover the blues, and I bought my first blues record, and by accident it was Freddie King. And by the third song, it was like an epiphany. I was like, I didn't know a guitar could do this, I could talk this way. I always wanted to be a doctor, but by the third song, I knew I was going to be a guitar. This gig was booked at the last minute. There wasn't much notice. My agent said.
What do you mean last minute?
Well, it was 3 months ago. That's last minute. In this day and age, that's
last minute. It was like when we booked the guy Monday and get the gig on Friday.
Was it 3 months? It's more like 2 months.
Danny Bryant, we were supposed to be love Danny.
Yeah,
he was very sick. He was in the hospital, so we had to. We didn't want to cancel. And there was some other guys, and fortunately on Monday night, and they played on Saturday here. That's a last minute thing.
Well,
just for our friends. And
the point is, I've come here. We've been here once. We've said hello to some people. We performed to an audience here. Hopefully, it will be the beginning of a relationship with the area. That's what I always wanted to be. And I like forming, business partnerships with people that last a long time. I don't like this jumping about from one place to another. You make friends, and you keep your friends, and you be loyal to your friends, and you do this. So hopefully we build something up, and I get to see and explore. Now I have a new place I can come to.
Till next time in Transylvania, what do you wish the Transilvania Blues Nights and Festival friends?
It's an interesting place. I've come to the east, to Eastern Europe a few times in different capacities in different places. There's even working class society here has like an aristocratic history of its own in terms of its age, in terms of its cultural history. And the cultural history here is very deep. So this is something I want to explore and understand. Old people.
Yeah, the very troubled history. Like a roller coaster of history.
We all got trouble. We've all got troubled history.
So till next time, thank you, Todd, for being here.
I can't wait.
It was amazing.
I can't wait. Thank you for bringing me.
Let there be blues.
Let there be blues. Yes, mate.